Greetings, fellow book enthusiasts, and welcome back to Timeless Tales and Thoughts. I am continuing my journey through American Revolutionary landmarks in the Hudson Valley. I am at the New Windsor Cantonment, the last encampment of the Continental Army from 1782 to 1783. Here you will also find the National Purple Heart Hall of Honor. Inside, you will find exhibits of military history, stories of Purple Heart recipients, and they even have a database that you can look up your relatives that are Purple Heart recipients. They also have an exhibit of life at the Cantonment in 1782 to 1783. As I walk up the path towards the Cantonment, I try to envision the area full of log huts similar to the one that you see here. All of the buildings are replicas of the huts and the temple or meeting house. The original huts were removed from the area after the disbandment of the Continental Army in 1783. The original cantonment was much more expansive than this small area that you see here today. It expanded further out into areas that are now modern homes, businesses, schools, and shopping centers. There were a couple major events that occurred here at the cantonment. The first was the Newburgh Conspiracy, which led to Washington's Newburgh Address. The conspiracy began with an anonymous letter written in March 1783. This letter is said to have been written by Major John Armstrong, an aide to General Horatio Gates. Continental soldiers were angry. Congress had not paid them in quite some time, and their pensions were practically non existent. The letter suggested the soldiers take action against Congress and demand their pay at gunpoint. Washington caught wind of this uprising and addressed the troops in the temple at the cantonment. On March 15, 1783, Washington delivered the Newburgh Address, interrupting an already scheduled meeting presided by General Gates. Washington's speech against the coup was short and impassioned, but it was his actions and words before reading a letter from Congress that moved the soldiers and squashed the conspiracy. Washington took a pair of brand new reading glasses from his pocket. To this point, no one had ever seen him wearing glasses. And he said to them, now I do believe this is an actual quote, "Gentlemen, you will permit me to put on my spectacles, for I have not only grown gray, but almost blind in the service of my country." Washington would again come to the cantonment on April 18, 1783, this time with joyous news. He would read aloud to the soldiers the proclamation for the cessation of hostilities. 8 years after the revolution began with the battles of Lexington and Concord, the war was finally over. Looking out over the grounds, I can just picture the celebration. How happy and ecstatic they all must have felt that it was finally over. Everything they had fought for, everything they had lost, it was worth something. And we were done with this war. We were broken from England, and now we were going to move forward as our own country. During certain times of the year, you can find colonial reenactors here at the Cantonment. They hold artillery demonstrations as well as a working blacksmith shop and medical equipment and treatments of the 1780s. History truly comes to life here at the Cantonment. Unfortunately, the day I visited, there were no reenactors out and about. That might be because it was a weekday and maybe they only do this reenactors on the weekends. I'm not sure, but it's definitely something to check out and take time and talk to the reenactors if you happen to be there at the same time that they are. As I was heading back to the Hall of Honor, I noticed that there was a plaque on all sides of this monument, so I took a moment to read the other three sides that I missed earlier on the way into the cantonment. I hope you enjoyed this journey through history. Please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and don't go anywhere. We have one more stop to make in the Hudson Valley.